Hi, my name is Jennifer Coleman, and I was asked to answer some questions for professional development on English learners. And here we go. So, the first question is wanting me to talk about how culture influences teaching and learning for English learners and what the competence and its role is in instruction. So, with culture deeply shapes how students perceive knowledge, how they interact with authority, express themselves, and respond to learning environments. According to an article by Cairo of 2023, that emphasizes that educators often teach from their own personal framework rather than focusing with the students, and that can create unintentional marginalization for English learners whose cultural norms and communication styles differ. So having the different teaching styles and learning styles, it can affect classroom participation, behavior, expectations, student-teacher relationships, all of those things. So the culture competence involves being aware of these and respecting the boundaries towards the differences in the culture, and actively adapting teaching practices to honor the differences of EL students. Incorporating EL culture values can include relevant text, allowing students to share personal beliefs, personal things that relate to their culture, experiences within their culture, incorporating multilingual materials. So not just passing out an English sample, having a Spanish copy ready if that's needed, and recognizing the holidays that are important to English learners as well. The next question is asking me, what is the role of culture when student learning? So again, culture plays a very foundational role in how students learn. They communicate, engage academic content. For English learners, cultural background shapes how they approach learning tasks, and they interact with their peers and teachers and everybody around them. They essentially have to do this to make sense of the information that they are receiving. So when the instruction aligns with the student's culture, it's easier for them to take on the new information. When the instruction doesn't align for them, they have to dissect it in a way that they may not quite fully understand. So having a welcoming and culturally responsive environment can support the confidence with EL students. It has risk-taking and participation, all of which are essential for language development. When building an inclusive classroom, it is important to build strong, respectful relationships with EL students and their families. Incorporate relevant materials that are related to culture, multilingual resources and instruction, and create the safe space ultimately for these students where they feel value and they feel like they can learn, even with the risks of the language and the barriers that they are facing. Some strategies to help support that for educational equity, it lies at the heart of the classroom. So if the classroom feels safe and the students feel safe within the classroom, every student, regardless of where they came from, where they are at in life, they have access to the resources that they need to thrive. So once the resources are there, the students know how to essentially find the information. So schools and teachers who prioritize the equity create space where English learners feel validated, they feel supported within the classroom, they promote both social and belonging within social aspects and also academic aspects. They also, it helps the classrooms that intentionally reflect students' identities through visuals, resources, teaching practices. It signals to the ELs that they belong and that they matter. So whenever they are seeing things within the classroom that, may not be what is culturally normal for you and I, it's culturally normal for them. So that essentially will open up that their mind to know that they can learn and that they can do these things. So with the acceptance fosters confidence, which in turn drives language, risk-taking, participation, and growth, according to the AU School of Education. So by displaying these visuals, it essentially does help them. Some strategies for responsiveness is to effectively respond to to the strengths, the needs of the students, the identities of all English learners, even those with special needs, because some English learners do qualify for special education services, adopt culturally responsive and inclusive strategies that prioritize the students, both academically and socially. Teachers need to differentiate instruction just the same as we do for special education students. English learners are no different. They need differentiation, maybe even more if they're coming in as a pre-emergent English learner. So making sure that they have the materials that they need to be successful and that they are given the chance to show that they can grow. The importance of understanding the social, emotional, and cultural needs of students is essential when establishing classroom routines and procedures. The factors directly impact students' sense of safety, their belonging, the readiness to learn. So without all of those things, the students aren't going to come in and they're not going to be ready to learn. Family and community practices. So when schools actively invite the families into being a part of like family nights, things like that, they're feeling more apt to want to push their student to learn. Literacy nights, storytelling events, things like that. Activities like bilingual reading. So asking a parent like, hey, would you mind reading this book in like Spanish or whatever? Like that's getting them involved. That's showing them that they are needing that. So by creating welcoming environments and building a strong community and having consistent communication, teachers are going to build strong foundations within their classroom. They should also encourage home language use when it comes to multilingual or bilingual students, because let's be honest, English isn't always what's best for some students until they can learn it. So ultimately, it's important to prioritize culturally responsive teaching, supporting the needs of English learners, and home and school connections, because these elements, when they are put together, it ensures academic success between English learners, emotional well-being, and a sense of belonging for all students, especially those from diverse linguistic and cultural backgrounds. Together, culturally responsive teaching, tailored to classroom support, and strong homeschool partnerships create an inclusive environment for students where ELs can ultimately thrive in academics. So with that being said, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much.